My name is Keenan. In this video, I'm going to share 6 tips with you that will be very useful to know if you're thinking about starting your own Airbnb business. Are there contractors that are working away from home and they're traveling all the way from Liverpool or Newcastle and they need accommodation? If you think to yourself, oh, there's about 4 hotels in a radius of like 2 miles, then things should be really sparking in your mind. Thinking, greetings! In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you. I can hear the scrap man just saying scrap higher. Take 2. I think it's actually safe to record now. The scrap men have got everything they need, literally. So, but quick tip here. Don't give the scrapman any copper or any brass, because you can actually cash that in yourself and get some good spandoolies. Yen, sterling, wonga, reddies, whatever you want to call it. But trust me, you'll be able to go to your local Tesco or Morrison's and get some decent amount of shopping for that. But anyway, without further ado, let's jump right into it. My name is Keenan. In this video, I'm going to share 6 tips with you that will be very useful to know if you're thinking about starting your own Airbnb business, also known as serviced accommodation, or you just want to know a bit more about it, right? So let me delve right into it. Now, 6 tips. I didn't want to write it down one by one because I know I want to make this short, snappy and sweet so you get the information and I don't bore you. So, legals, understand the market, terms and conditions sorted, geezer. Underline that, yeah. Guests to avoid, cleaners and marketing. Now, first of all, let me just briefly just explain who I am so you know. So I started my Airbnb business the back end of August 2019. It's served me well since then. I get paid from the business and it's good. I found out that it's not completely for me, but maybe it'd be useful to you. That's why I thought I'd share this with you. So, legals. First of all, I do not own the properties that I rent as Airbnb. Now, there's 2 ways you can do this business. You can actually rent out your own properties, or you can rent out properties and legally sublet it. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, those who want to actually set up their property to Airbnb and rent it out, there's things that they need to know. There's 3 things, right? So, first of all is, can you do it with your current mortgage? You don't want to be in breach of your mortgage because the mortgage company / the lender gets to take your property because you're in breach. Now, how do you know if you're in breach or not in breach? Well, first of all, you need to find out if you're able to let that property or you're able to perform business activities with that mortgage product. Secondly, if you are choosing to rent property and then sublet it, then you need to make sure you have the right contracts in place. Now, not your standard AST contracts. For those who don't know, AST contract is simply a tenancy agreement for any renter. Now, usually it would say, or it will say, no subletting, right? So you can't do that on that contract. The contracts you need is some sort of company let or commercial let agreement, right? So, the whole dog's not interrupting me. So that's it. Thirdly, if you have a leasehold property, you need to make sure that the head lease of your place, right, enables you to perform the business activities or sublet. So that's the 3 things that is key: mortgage, head lease, and finally make sure you got the right contracts in place. So let's delve right into it. You're probably thinking, well, how do you rent property and then sublet it, and how does that work? So I guarantee the landlord a hassle-free opportunity. I give him guaranteed rent. I take care of the maintenance of the property, and then void periods, he literally has an agreed sum hitting his bank for X amount of months. He gets to lay back. He doesn't get a call from any tenants because I am the main tenant and I take care of any issues with the people who I rent it out to, which are contractors. So stress-free time, I take all the responsibility. He gets guaranteed rent. I make a little margin on front. Everyone is happy. Everybody wins, right? So let's delve right into it. Now, number 2, understand your market. I can't emphasize how important this is. With any business, you need to understand where's the demand. You can't supply something that nobody needs. Right. So before I took on my properties, I thought to myself, hold on, if what's happening here, is it suitable, etc. And I'll run it down how I did it, right? So the first property I took on, I knew within that local area that there's going to be developments taking place. So I was thinking, okay, so contractor would be suitable. If the contractor would be suitable, then what type of house would the contractors want? Now, they want parking. They need to know it's a safe area. They need to have enough bathrooms. They need to know that it's not a, box room, etc. So they have plenty of space. They got a place to chill, possibly in the garden, the summer, etc. All these things you have to consider. So if you're looking for opportunities, look around and think, wow, there's a new development happening here. There's about 350 properties that are being built. Now, there's one thing to note here. Are the contractors that are going to be working on that new development, are they local labour, e.g. they don't need accommodation, or are they contractors that are working away from home and they're travelling all the way from Liverpool or Newcastle and they need accommodation, right? Because they can't do 200 trip after 5 o'clock. You're just not productive. It's a waste of time. So they need accommodation. So find that. So before COVID, people used to travel and business trips and etc. etc. I think that's going to be majorly limited. So, but prior to that, you'd be in a position where, or a market where you have visitors that are visiting the city and they're going to be staying, they can go to their office and they can go here, they go there. So that's not the market. I predominantly focus on the contractor market, but there's also markets such as the leisure market. When things were hunky-dory and you could, bust 2 steps in the club and order a JD and a Ciroc, you can't do that just yet. Hopefully, we will do in a few months, right? But we won't get political on this. So, yeah, people want to visit the weekend. They want to go out. They need a place to stay, etc. So, is your place going to be suitable for that clientele, etc., etc.? So, you see where I'm going with this? If people want stag do's, or a couple that want to stay, they want a luxurious experience and stuff like that. So you get the gist. So before you're taking a property, to make sure it's suitable for your market. Now, not only that, right? Look at your competitors within the area. Are there hotels? How are they priced out? If you think to yourself, oh, there's about 4 hotels in a radius of 2 miles, then things should be really sparking in your mind. Think, there is a demand for that. Otherwise, hotels wouldn't actually stay or create a hotel. And think to yourself, hold on, there's only hotels that are being built in my area at the moment. Why are they being built? Because the same way you will be doing this due diligence, right? The same way big corporations will be investing a lot of money into research to find out whether it's viable for them to set up a hotel. Are they going to get customers? So that's a good little point to be made. So know the competition. Not only hotels, but other Airbnb operators. What are they offering? What's their properties like? Can you compete with the quality? Can you compete with the price? What can you compete with? What's their main selling points? Do you have selling points? Is it for contractors? What are contractors looking for? Okay, they need parking. They need those nice areas so the tools don't get nicked. Is there enough bathrooms? The lads they're on a good ratio of bathrooms. So. Do they have en-suites, etc.? What does other people have? Okay, they have TVs in each room. Okay, tidy. Is it Sky? Is it etc., etc.? Look at the reviews. What don't people like about their property that you could make suitable for your property, etc., etc.? So there's a lot of variables in this. Then it all comes down to understanding your market, because when it really gets tough, you need to know that you can compete with the price and compete with the quality, so you get as much money as possible, should we say, because it is business. And also, are you able to survive? Can you maintain that service? Right. So, thirdly, terms and conditions. Every guest that comes into your property needs to sign terms and conditions, not only to protect the landlord's property or your own property, but to also protect them, protect you, and protect the landlord, right? So you need to make sure that they have read, signed, and returned those terms and conditions. Make sure you get IDs of all the guests. Now, that's to your discretion. You could just get the lead guests. If you want more sense of security, get everybody's. literally, if you want to, right? But people will be a bit about that. And also get a deposit as well. Make sure you get some good terms and conditions. If you haven't got no terms and conditions, let me know and I could sort you out. Right, so thirdly, when it comes to terms and conditions as well, right? Here's thirdly. When it comes to terms and conditions, make sure that you have them on booking.com and Airbnb or any other online travel agent such as Expedia or TripAdvisor, etc. Because the guests can't say, well, I didn't read the terms and conditions. Excuse me, it's literally uploaded. So they would need to actually read it before they make a booking. Therefore, it protects you. And if you need to make a complaint against whoever they book through, like booking.com, etc., then you have a means of reference, right? So, fourthly, guests to avoid. Now, I've had a bad experience, one bad experience in the past, and I was stung. And I had a feeling not to allow these people in the property, but I thought, you know what, one of the first booking, let's get it in until my contractors, you know, arrive from Ireland. You'll see it in my videos, literally. So these guys had a mad party. There's about 40 people showing up. There's all in the streets, etc. It's quite madness. You'll see in my other video. Check it out, right? But it just goes to show how if people book one night and they say they come up with a pathetic excuse like, you know, I need to stay because I need a place to stay and my friends need a place to chill and we're just bored and we just want to kick it, really. That smells a lot of trouble, especially if they're underage as well. Now, I don't want to, you know, judge anybody, but you need to have a good amount of judgment skills to determine whether that booking is going to cause you hassle or it's just going to be, it's not going to be worth it. So typically it can be one-nighters, right? Try to avoid that by extending your calendar to say 2 nights minimum. That could be used as a deterrent, but that's a thing to side note as well. Cleaners. Now, cleaners, look, this industry that you're getting involved in is the hospitality business. People are paying top dollar depending on where you are in the market. You could be low market, mid market, high market. Regardless, people want what they pay for, like you would. Anything you would expect to get paid, you know, well, you would expect to get what you pay for, literally. So make sure the cleaners are on top form, right? Make sure the fresh bedding, things are tidy, and if you need to give the cleaners a checklist and you want photos taken before and after, then that's what I would advise. Because one, it protects you to say, look, before the guest arrived, this was how the property was, and that's how they left it. And not only that, it's just good. It's a good track record that you can keep, right? So bear that in mind. In terms of cleaners, if you're thinking about hiring a cleaner, just make sure they know what type of business they're getting involved in and ask if they've had any previous experience. Because sometimes you could get a booking out of the blue and they need to be there out of the blue and they need to check out quickly, etc., etc. So they need to be on the ball. Before you actually hire a cleaner, please, like, if you know other Airbnb operators in the area, then give them a call, find out who they use, and just say, what's your experience with them, who to avoid. I've had a few cleaners that I wouldn't allow back in the property, unfortunately, which is sad because I just wanted a good service, literally. So just bear that in mind. Know who the cleaner is. Can they handle it? Do they do it by themselves? Do they have rotating people that could fulfill their boots if they're not around, etc., etc., or they're just desperate to take the job on to kind of get some money? So bear that in mind. So finally, number 6, marketing. Marketing has been vital. Now, throughout 2020, you may not know, but you will know now, Airbnb locked off their calendars. So people who heavily relied on OTAs, travel agencies, they were in the trouble. They were in the trouble because if you're not visible on these sites, then people are not able to book you, right? And particularly with the government guidelines, etc., it made it very difficult for operators to get them bookings in so they can earn. Everyone was losing money, right? So make sure you bear that in mind. And the way you can get around that is, don't think this has something as a quick rich scheme. It's not. This is grit. This is hard work if it's not systemized, right? So what you can do to avoid that is create a website and have a means where people can book directly on your website, or create flyers or create some sort of marketing material that you can advertise to your ideal client working locally. E.g., if you've got contractors as your main target audience, get some flyers, bang it in the projects, bang it on their cars, bang it everywhere, etc. Offer referral fees, etc., etc., etc. So yeah, that's really important. Like any business, without marketing, there's no leads. No leads, there's no sales. No sales, no money. No money, there's no profit. So vitally important. Right, so that is all for now. If you like this video, please like it. Dislike it if you think this guy doesn't know what he's on about, total waste of my time. And if it was, just comment. It's a waste of time, bro. Absolute waste of time. But anyway, I'm going to be sharing more of this information. If you found it useful, just share some love, smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.